Yeah, speaking of the roads, we do have Steve Roon with the Kent County Road Commission with us, joining us via Zoom. So if Steve is on, can we bring him up? Hey, Steve, good morning to you. Good to see you this morning. I know that you guys are probably hard at work right now, and given the frequency of accidents we've had over the last hour, I mean, this is probably something that, we did expect because it happens every time we have a winter weather event like this in West Michigan. But Steve, my question to you is what are you guys working on right now to kind of help clear these roads off of the snow, the ice, what have you?
Yeah, good morning. We are out there working, trying to clear the roads, mostly using mechanical means. So we're trying to plow those roads, applying some abrasives behind what we clear, which is what we mostly know as sand. But on days like today, with the lake effect really picking up, providing some of those whiteout conditions, conditions really change almost right behind what we're out there doing. So it's one that we definitely want to slow down and drive for the conditions.
I think, when we have days like today, with the cold temperatures, we always talk about that pre-treatment never works in like the very, very cold temperatures. Can you explain why?
Well, all of our treatment products, that are going to use some form of salt, as they receive precipitation, they get diluted. And the storm we receive now, with it being so cold, salt just isn't as effective down into these low temperatures. So the amount that we can put down even before or during storms just isn't effective and ends up probably providing a worse condition than better.
And of course, we're seeing right now these lake effect snow bands more intense in some areas than others. How does that play into how you guys tackle actually being able to keep up with the snow? You've got one area that even a little pocket of sunshine sneaks through, and then the next thing you know, whiteout conditions.
Yeah, it provides a huge challenge. Our men and women are out there really just doing loops. They're in runs that are theirs, assigned to for the day, and they're just making the progress they can per hour or every couple hours. And then when accidents occur and we get whiteout conditions, our response time is slow. Just like first responders, the emergency responders, it takes them longer to arrive at a scene. It takes us longer to get through our runs. So, we'd ask for everyone to try to slow down, exercise that due care and caution so everyone can get where they need to safely.
So, lake effect snow is expected to continue throughout much of the day into tomorrow as well. What does that process for you guys look like? What does the planning look like, and how will you guys go about the rest of your day?
Yeah, well, we're going to continue what we've been doing, and we've got upwards of 90 men and women on the road with our plow trucks. We're going to keep them out there, continuing to mechanically remove as much of the snow, the blowing, drifting snow that we can to keep the roads as passable as possible. Putting down a thin layer of abrasives, that sand behind it, to provide some traction. And we'll continue that into kind of post-rush, and then this evening we'll bring in our night crew and continue at it again. The temperature's here for the next couple days, so we've got kind of more of the same for the next couple days here.
Tell us more about that sand that you're using, because that's kind of a bit different. Everyone always thinks of the salts coming down, but why sand?
Well, sand is just something we can put down there and it will stay in place. And we call it abrasives kind of in the industry. Most of the time we're using a sand. That sand can go down and kind of sit on that road and be a layer between maybe that icy road surface and the tires. We put that grit, that sand down there, and provide some traction. And we've got so much precipitation where the snow is coming down and blowing across. That also causes a bond change between that. So we're trying to just provide something that we can drive on to provide the best conditions possible.
What are some of the best practices for drivers out there today? What would you recommend to them? Of course, I know, putting on your four-wheel drive, if you've got it, is going to be one. I guess, what would you recommend to those drivers?
Yeah, one of the biggest things on a day like today is plan for your commute. Do some of the things that you don't want to use. Put that emergency kit in your vehicle so you've got the warm winter coat, the hats, the gloves, because as conditions worsen, all of those first responders are getting backed up call after call. So the police will be longer to respond. The tow trucks, first responders from EMS. So you may need to be prepared to sit in your vehicle longer. So make sure your gas tank's full. You've got those warm clothes, maybe even a small snack and a bottle of water. Keep your phone charged so you have the ability to reach 911 or make those phone calls, emergency services you need. Some of that pre-planning can really help you get where you need to go.
Absolutely. I've been scolding Tanner all
I
morning
know.
long
We
because
were
he
just
doesn't have
talking
the
about
kit.
that. I don't have a kid in my car. I need to reevaluate clearly. I mean, after, seeing some of the things that could happen out there, right?
Yeah, and one more question for you, Steve. When we see you guys out on the road, when we see your cars, what should we be doing as active drivers when we're trying to maybe get around you guys, or should we stay behind you? What should that look like?
Again, there's a new law that's been put out there about trying to travel 200 foot or better behind a plow truck. I think a day like today really accentuates the need for that law. It really provides to both the motorist and us doing our work that room to do our job. With the light snow that's out there, when we start to mechanically remove it, we're going to create one of those near whiteouts or a whiteout condition. So staying behind us to give yourself that room. If you need to, pass on the left and go by us. But on days like today, if you're not in a hurry, I think staying behind us would be a good place to be.
All right. Steve Roon with the Kent County Road Commission. We really appreciate your time and insight. Of course, I know that you guys are out there working so hard, so we hope that you guys stay safe out there on the roads. And yeah, thank you for your time. Of course, very valuable insight.